Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, Mia. And thank all of you for coming tonight. This has been quite an adventure that Christy and I are on. I was involved in the political arena for 40 years. And the last job was chief of staff to a governor, Governor Dunleavy. And when I resigned, I thought it's time to retire. 40 years of doing this, and 40 years focused on this great republic, on the self-government that is a unique experience in the history of humanity. And ever since high school, when I first became aware of how unique the United States was, how special our former government was, and how much it depended on individual citizens taking time to get involved in civic affairs, not to get anything directly out of it, just to spend the time and effort to help society, your culture, your families have a better place to live, a safer place to live. And you look throughout history, and humans have been governed mostly by kings and oligarchs and dictators. And in the United States, we have a different heritage. But Ronald Reagan said we're always just one generation away from losing it. And we are. My generation, your generation, my 15 grandchildren's generation. That is why the money, the time, the effort is so worthwhile. And what I've enjoyed more than any other aspect this last 40 years is meeting new people who are thinking about running for office, and interested in how they can get involved, and just sitting down with them and encouraging them to be involved in their local party, to be involved in running for school board, to be involved in helping someone run for office. And there's so many people who don't like politics, they're nervous about politics, they're busy with their own lives, and that's all true. There's lots of reasons not to like politics, there's lots of reasons to be busy with your own life. But we all have an obligation as Alaskans and Americans to be involved in civic affairs. You get to decide how much and where you can best put your time and effort, but everyone needs to be involved, or our system will not survive. And not only does our system respect the individual and self-government at a level unknown in human history, we also have an economy almost unknown in human history. An economy that thrives and prospers because people have the freedom to pursue their own business, their own dreams, their own interests. And the more freedom they have to do that, the better it is for everyone in society. And those are some of the reasons that I've dedicated the 40 years of involvement. And I thought I was all done. And then, watching the Senate and the House grapple with big issues and not make progress. Some progress was made, but I just watched the people fighting and the stalemate, and I realized there was something I could bring to the table to make that better. And I hope I can live up to the reputation and the wonderful words from Mia Costello, but that is what I'm hoping to do in the state Senate, is bring some discussion, some calm, some focus, and it has to be based on principle. Now, my lovely daughter, I think, well, you ought to run for office, okay? You've got quite a platform. But I'm so proud that she has so strong opinions and a vision for what would make society better. And it just makes me so proud as a father to have a daughter who is willing to stand up and speak her mind and lay out a platform. And laying out a platform, when I talk to candidates, they get to decide what they're going to run on. Every candidate you hear gets to say, I'm going to run on these issues. And what do I advise them? And I've always advised people, do what you say you're going to do. Don't be one of those politicians that just tries to get elected, and once you're there, you turn your back, you say it was just a game, it was just trying to get elected. The damage that you cause. Think about volunteering for somebody and supporting them, going door to door, or giving them money, and they campaign and they say this is what they want to do, and then they don't do that, or they do the opposite. And they say that was just a campaign. That creates cynicism, disconnecting, and undermines the very foundations of our whole system. And I can promise at least this much. I will never do anything to make my 15 grandchildren ashamed of their papa. And that's what I've had to say to people, because there are so many cynical people out there. Why should we believe you? Why should we think you're telling us the truth? That's one reason. The other is my 40 years of involvement and the consistent conservative approach. I'm kind of moderate in how I talk with people and moderate in trying to let everyone have their say, and we all discuss what the issues are at hand, but then we make a decision and we move forward. And the conclusions I reach almost all the time are for the smallest government possible, the lowest taxes possible, the most freedom possible, and I'm going to carry that philosophy right on into the state senate. The people who helped make this event tonight volunteered their time. My nephew, Caleb Green, my niece, Tori Green, my wife, Christy Babcock, and the co-hosts, Zoe Marudis, Don Linton Warren, who I've known since high school, thank you, Don, and Miranda Walso, and my good friend Nelson San Juan, and who am I forgetting, Christy? Suzanne Downing, with Must Street, Alaska, and of course my sister Portia, and my brother-in-law Ralph. Thank you, guys. This could not happen without the volunteers. Election is August 16th, and guess what you all get to do August 16th? And I see one of our fine congressional candidates is here, my good friend Nick Begich. Welcome him. Thank you, Nick, for being here. Well, Nick Begich is going to be on the ballot August 16th, and he's going to be on the ballot with two other people, Sarah Palin and Mary Peltola, and they're going to vote, and you're going to vote and rank those three, if you wish, because of ranked choice voting. And then there are going to be 22 candidates, but you only get to vote for one of them at the same time for the same office. I tell you what, one of the things that's going to change, if we possibly can, is get rid of ranked choice voting. Now, one of the people that, can I go ahead and introduce my good friend? One of the people that I enjoyed when I was volunteer chairman of the Alaska Republican Party, one of the jobs we had was to elect a Republican governor. And I got to know Senator Mike Dunleavy in the Senate, watched his campaign unfold for governor, watched him take on the special interests, watched him take on the campaign of a very strong Democratic candidate, probably Nick Begich's uncle, Mark. You know, Nick Begich, sorry, Governor, I'm going to take a little bit here. Nick Begich, when I first met him, one of my best friends in high school was Tom Begich, the leader of the Democrats in the state Senate. So when I met Nick Begich, I thought, well, what is this? But Nick talked to me. He told me about his upbringing, about his views, about what his principles were. So I took him at his word, and as I do with so many people, wrapped him into volunteering, and he became co-chair of the Finance Committee for the Republican Party, and helped raise money for Republicans, and helped raise money that allowed us to elect people like Governor Mike Dunleavy. Now, one of the things I asked Nick to do is lead a discussion about why I'm a Republican. We get a bum rap sometimes as Republicans that we're all European descent. That's not the truth. And there was a group called Why Am I a Republican? My own son, Jabal Leaf, was one of the speakers. And Nick led the group. And Nick started that out by saying, all right, everyone, I know I'm at the Republican convention, and I'm at Begich, but I have a question to ask. How many of you have any member of your family who is a Democrat? And about 3/4 of the convention stood up, and he said, well, this may come as a surprise, but so do I. When I was chairman, and we had a great success in 2018 of electing a Republican majority in the legislature and a Republican governor, the governor asked me to start working for him and shift from being chairman to being his chief of staff. It was daunting, rewarding, and one of the most valuable contributions to this state that I was ever allowed to do, and I can thank no one more than my good friend, Governor Mike Dunleavy.
Sorry I'm late. So, Tuckerman, let's hear a round of applause if you're happy that Tuckerman's running for office. So, I met Tuckerman many years ago, and I just found him to be one of the smartest individuals I've ever encountered, to be perfectly honest with you. Smart, well-read, just his view and his ability to ascertain things was phenomenal. So we struck up a friendship many years ago. And we continue to have conversations about government, about philosophy, about politics, etc. And what you've got here is one of the smartest guys I know, to be perfectly honest with you. I know this personally, obviously. Very hardworking, very insightful, knows the legislative process better than most, knows the executive branch better than most, knows what has to happen in Alaska to make Alaska a conservative state that we all want to have Alaska become. And so, I'm just glad to see so many people here today for this get-together. Hopefully it's a fundraiser. And remember, did you tell them that there's no limits, Tuckerman? Did you mention to people that the idea is to go out with less than you came in with, okay? But in all honesty, it's hard to win a campaign, it's hard to win a race unless you get the help from others, unless you get people helping you out. Sign waivers, phone callers, getting the word out, but also money. And I know it's hard to ask people to give you their money and help raise money for themselves. But on behalf of Tuckerman, I want to say that I think Alaska is a better place because he is here. I think the legislature is going to be a better place when he's there. And I think the overall system is going to improve. I look forward to going down there next year and having a legislature in which everybody's on the same team, we're pulling in the same direction, and we can get this state where we need to get it. And Tuckerman is going to be a key to doing that. So, Tuckerman, I want to congratulate you. I'll give this back to the guy who this is all about. But thank you for being here to help him out, and don't forget to dig deep, give your money, and vote, get your friends out.
Thank you very much, Governor. Oh, yes. I'm also my wife reminded me, I'm very glad to announce the endorsement today of the Alaska Outdoor Council. Very proud of that group.